Okay, so lesson 6 of chapter 7 is multiplication and division rules. Our previous lesson was over addition and subtraction. So you're going to see very similar problems to that lesson, only we're going to be looking more at solving using multiplication and division and just using those operations instead. So our first step should always be, if we aren't given an equation, we need to write one. We need to find out what is the rule that is being used in this pattern and put it into an equation form so that we can easily figure out how to use our input-output numbers. So our equation for this always starts with the input and it equals the output. What we have to figure out is that middle part. What happens in between? So if I start with 5 and I end up with 15, or I start with 7 and I end up with 21, or I start with 9 and I end up with 27, what's happening to the input numbers to create these output numbers? Well, I know that 5 times 3 equals 15, and 7 times 3, well, that equals 21. Does 9 times 3 equal 27? I believe it does. So I think our rule here is times 3. So here's our equation. C times 3 equals F. So now I'm going to use this equation to solve for the rest of my table. So I'm going to use my equation, put 11 in for C because these are my input numbers. 11 times 3 equals F. So what is F in this case? F is 33. Okay, what about the next one? If I plug in 13 into C, what is my new output amount? Well, I know 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 1 is 3. So that would be 39. Ooh, and then they skip way far ahead. Notice they were going up by 2's here. Maybe we could see a pattern, but now they're trying to trick us. 25 times 3. I think this would be best solved by stacking instead of doing it horizontal. So I'm going to write it off to the side. 25 times 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So 25 times 3, oh, I should have known 3/4 is 75 cents, shouldn't I? But it's always good to show your work as well. So I wrote an equation to explain how multiplication is being used in this table, and then I used my equation to solve for the 3 remaining output numbers. Okay, we're going to look at one more example to help us better understand multiplication and division. Okay, let's look at a horizontal example. I don't know why I just made that so big. Oh, we're just gonna have a big old table. Just gonna be, yep. Okay. Drawing my table. This is going to be my input. This is going to be my output. What should I make the variables? How about V and let's do S. Okay. So if I had as my input 28, ooh, these are big numbers, 35, 42, 49, 56, let's do one more, 63, okay, and my output is going to be 4, 5, and 6, so my goal is to figure out the last 3 outputs and to write an equation. So let's look at the equation first so that it can help us solve for the rest of the outputs. I start with my input and I end with my output. V, something happens to V and it equals S. So what happens to V? How do I get from 28 to 4? Now I know a lot of our minds like to think in terms of multiplication. I know that 4 times 7 is 28. But if I write v times 7 equals s, that means I have to do 28 times 7. And 28 times 7 does not equal 4. So what should I do instead of multiplying by 7? Well, if I remember the title of my lesson today, multiplication and division rules, I would know that, well, I can use my fact families and know that v divided by 7 would equal s. So here's my equation. I'm going to use it to solve for the rest of my questions here. So 49 gets plugged into v, plug and chug time. 49 divided by 7. What is 49 divided by 7? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. If you got 7, you're so correct. Very good. Let's try the next one. 56 divided by 7. What is 56 divided by 7? If you got 8, you are correct, yet again. And 63 divided by 7, what does that equal? Well, if you can tell, we're going up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and these don't jump a whole lot, so it's probably 9. And if you got 9, you're absolutely correct yet again. So this is our multiplication and division rules tables. Same basic concept as addition and subtraction, only we are thinking in terms of multiplying and dividing. So remember, always compare from input to output, never the reverse. Write an equation first if you're not given one, and then use that equation to solve for the remaining missing numbers. Good luck.